What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bancroft joined again by Austin and Jake as we go into the third episode of Time Wars. In this particular matchup, we are retracing our steps when Piccolo, or more or less King Piccolo, regained his youth. And Tien was challenging him into a fight. And now, in the show, Tien got beaten very badly and told Goku to run before being saved by Goku. But in this repeat, can Tien instead take victory over King Piccolo? And, well, let's get into it. What's going on, guys?
Nothing much, man.
Yeah.
We have Austin playing as King Piccolo today, and Jake is playing as Tien. And much like the other videos, these decks are themed to the event and or leader, because sometimes decks need a certain engine to perform its best. And in this case, since the only Tien leader we have is a World Martial Arts themed deck, Jake does play a little more of the martial arts theme, while Austin is kind of going strictly towards the King Piccolo archetype we got in set 18?
I think it was set 18. Is that or 19?
Yeah, I think when we did the draft for this, I didn't realize that a lot of these matchups I was picking would be like 10 sets in between the league. But I'm really enjoying this format and appreciating the deck building challenges. I do think this TN deck was a lot of fun to build, and honestly, if Bandai were ever to release like a lower powered format, or if just a lower powered format that players created became popular, I think TN would be a cool leader for that.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know expect coming into this, because this is my first match of this. So I a little unclear on the rules, because I was talking with Bancroft after, and I was like, oh, it needs to be thematic, so I went super thematic with mine. You'll see here that I have a few interesting choices, but I still feel like it works with the deck. It's just like I could have had some better options, knowing if I'd have known that I didn't have to be 100% on theme, which this mostly was. It's maybe like 95% on theme.
I will say a lot of decks in this format will probably be like literally just like how Fluff said for Peel Off last time. He opened the binder, our set 10 binder, and went, I'll pull all of this out. And also with this format, we are not incorporating secret rares. Just want to point that out ahead of time. But
yeah,
this option, I was like, that works really well because it's with theme. It allows you to bring out your one drops, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of my favorite SPRs in the whole game.
That's beautiful.
It's one of my favorite arts of all time in this game, and I was happy I get to finally use it. And I was like, you play a lot of one drops, you play a lot of free plays. You know, this might help me get my alternate awaken if I get my ass beat pretty early on, because I remember when this was announced, I was so excited to play this leader, because I was like, oh, I loved Red King Piccolo. I'm like, it sounds like a lot of fun. You do a lot of free play stuff. And then I read the front side. I'm like, okay, that seems pretty okay. But getting 3 Demon Clan for some reason is so rough in this deck. And like, I remember why I never built this deck and played it was because I hated being on the Awakened side.
Yeah, I mean, it is a self-awakener, I think, which is nice. But yeah. It's much like Turtle School, where in Turtle School, you had to get like 3 Turtle School, I think, or World Martial Arts. It was one the other, but it's kind of like,
yeah, that's
really hard to pull off.
Yeah, like if it was like 2, it's fine, you know, because you turn 1, boom, you play a Searcher. Turn 2, you swing, boom. Like, and that would have been on par with a lot of self-awakeners we have now, you know, like turn 2 awakens are pretty, especially with Z leaders, you know, pretty common.
Now,
I go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Continue your thought first, and I'll add on afterwards.
I was saying, because I think if they changed it to 2 instead of the 3, like the Narada or something, the leader would actually be fairly good.
Mm. I was going to ask you, starters, you had a great turn 2 pressure. Jake did go down to 4 life, but Jake did get his 3 drop on the board, which is kind of the purpose of the TN, to kind of bring that out for you. But that unison, it does allow your opponent to draw a card. Now, grant your opponent does have a choice afterwards at the end of your turn to put a card back underneath their deck if they wanted to. But did you feel like the potential of giving your opponent extra cards in their hand during your turn may have kind of hurt you by chance going into this?
I'll be 100% honest with you. That was not a damn thought in my head. I was like, this is thematic. This is cool. Play. I didn't even think about my opponent may not drop it. I was like, it's fun. I get to draw. I get to play the SPR. I get the rejuvenation if I get it. It's cool. And then you in the match you told me that, and I was like, oh, it's May.
Yeah.
So
I was constantly reminding Jake at the end of terms, like, Jake, you if you want to, you can put a card back.
Yeah. There wasn't gonna be a situation in this matchup where that ever happened. I think the only time that's really proper to do is against like Group Hug Slug or something. Pretty devastating dormant for me right there. like, oh man.
I forgot that this was going to be a green on green matchup, and as soon as you went there, I'm like, all right, here comes the. I was like, oh, Jake, you need 3 for the true effect, and I'm like, wait, it's green on green. If he has a dormant, that's,
Yeah. So it was pretty rough. Just kind of spent my turn removing what I could. There's a lot of tools that World Martial Arts Tournament leaders and Green in general has just gotten access to recently, like this Piccolo Unison and like the Fated Rivals. So I feel like as long as I can make it to turn 3 or 4, and here I've got my own dormant, I'll be okay. But it's just surviving that pressure and basically having to take a whole turn off of my own pressure last turn felt pretty rough.
Yeah, honestly didn't even pay attention to the matchup was. By paying attention, maybe I forgot what it was. I should know I was playing King Piccolo, and I played it in testing quite a bit, but I only tested it when the set was coming out. And so when I was building this, there were some things I was looking into because I want to be super thematic. And one thing I add, I don't know when it gets played in here, but one thing I did add was the 2-drop 15k crit tambourines from like set 2. What is it, like set 2?
Set 4.
Set 4. Yeah, like it's just a 2-drop crit tambourine. I was like, that actually helps the deck when you're awakened because you have the other tambourine and you have the drum you can play, but you don't have like really any threats besides like the pseudo dual attacker King Piccolo that like make things be bigger. A bit like and then
I want to say it real quick. For a set 4 card, for 2 energy, a 15k crit feels really good for a set 4 card.
Yeah,
it does.
I mean, granted, now we have cards for 1 energy, 19k crit if you have a field card on board, but...
Yeah, no, like I did, like it's just... That card was really surprisingly fun in this too. Like I was happy that I could do a thematic pretty hard like this. And... it was just fun to play. Like it's been a while since I just didn't think about a deck and just played for fun, and like just fun for fun's sake. Not like I'm trying to win. I didn't care if I won or lost in this game. I honestly had no idea what Jake's deck was going to do because it was themed, so I didn't know like how themed he went, what kind of theme he went for, and
it's kind of
there's a lot of surprises.
Yeah, because I also want to point out the events really that take place are shortly with King Piccolo shortly after the World Martial Arts Tournament. So like when I saw Jake play Goku, I'm like, is that stretching it? Then you know what? I played 18 Z battle cards and Cell Z battle cards in a Red Ribbon Army deck. So you know what?
Fair.
Like the Red Ribbon Army made Android 18, even if it was at way after the Kid Goku Red Ribbon Army fight, and even though this martial arts tournament was way after this one, it's still the World Martial Arts Tournament.
He's not wrong. But yeah, like this was actually a lot of fun. I was relearning a lot of what other cards did. Like I don't think I was playing when Tien came out too much. I think that was one of my hiatuses I took from the game, and just learning what it did was pretty fun. Like, and also just the absolute grinder that green on green is.
Yeah. Now, Tien was one of those decks that I think only me and Jake really at our shop played a lot, and I still enjoyed the deck for what it was. Granted, it can't. I don't think it can hold up much anything currently in the meta, obviously, but it's still a fun deck to play. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Against
a lot of fun.
the clones it makes, are they 10Ks or 15Ks? I can't remember.
They're 10Ks with 5K combo power. So it's kind of like drawing three if you want to think about it just in terms of raw combo power.
Yes.
So it's kind of like draw three, restand one, and then if you don't have a TN in play, which I think nowadays the correct play is to probably activate your leader ability, go get the Chaozu, don't spend the energy, and then combo the Chaozu off and put it into the Z because you need Z energy nowadays. And then whenever you awaken, you won't have any TNs on board already unless you like have a negate laying around. And then it won't turn off your leader effect to pop a battle card and get crit on swing. So I think there's ways to play the deck that make it a little bit better as far as like competitive viability goes, but I agree. There's just way better green decks to be playing in the format right now.
And I want to give kudos to Austin because you did send me your list to help you kind of put together. And when I saw you use these super combos, I was like, I'm happy.
Yeah, because I was like, I could use Paragus, but also I'm a sucker for like searchable combos, and then it also reminded me of the Red King Piccolo days. You know, where I'd use the Piccolo super combos because he was an Namekian, and you can combo them from your life if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So like, and there's the 2K crit for free there, but yeah. So like this deck was very reminiscent. It just felt nice. Like it was weird when like you played a deck that you really didn't play, but it felt like home. Like it was a lot of fun playing this. Like I had like it made me actually want to build it and just kind of bring it every now and again to the shop and actually try to make a legit list out of it just because it'd be fun. Yeah, and also having that using that for the double strike is so fun too. Having that Champa's banned, I don't feel like people think about double strikes really from leader swings unless they got an effect.
Yeah.
So that was nice to have that.
There are so many, like, I'm gonna phrase it. There are so few decks that can still get that ability, which is really nice. The problem is just knowing which decks they are, and of course, a lot of them are leader lock, or at least your leader has to be a certain character trait, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the most common I feel like is that Android 20. I think that's the one that's the Dr. Zero. I can't remember. But,
yeah, if your leader is an Android, Dr. Zero, yeah.
Yeah, the one that you get a plus 5,000 in double strike and already has a 1 plus 5,000. So, yeah, that's one of them. And it's just nice utility. Like, you can play him and buff your homies, but also you can use him as a double strike for a surprise. And I was wanting to put pressure because I just knew I was going to have a crit, 20k crit swing. And I was going to have 2 swings with the battle card King Piccolo. So I was trying to put pressure on there because he's got a nice board. He's got a dual attacker. I think that Tien's a double striker, right?
No, it's just a 15K barrier.
Oh, never mind.
It's initially a free play.
Off the Chaozu.
Yeah, off the Chaozu, but it can't attack that turn. And kudos to Jake for bringing Tien tokens and then having his natural tokens for his actual blockers.
Yeah, nice. I make a few custom tokens here and there, and this is one of my specialties here, the little cheerleader meta token.
It stands out so much too. like you see the rest of the deck, it's like a sore thumb.
Well, that's good. I won't shuffle it in with the rest of them.
That's true. Dude, this is when I start getting a little scared here because he's doing the combo.
This is a very nice combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good old long-awaited rematch.
And it doesn't get past barrier, but I mean, clearing a practical board's always good. And then I think one of them is double strike. Is the other one triple?
Yeah, the Goku is plus 10k, so right now it's a 25k triple strike barrier. And then the Tien is a big 25 double strike.
Okay.
So for 3 energy, it wipes the field, 5 cost or less, not ignoring barrier, and then represents 5 damage by itself. So, not by itself, it's a 2-card combo, but represents 5 damage. So, it's not too bad.
I had to move the cards for you.
Yeah.
I think one of the craziest things to me looking at the Tien deck is that if it literally just had a bit of energy reduction and was 1 turn faster, I think the deck would be insanely meta.
Oh, yeah. It would be very good if it was a little bit faster, and if it had a Z leader where it could get to 20k at some point. I think I would really bump this deck up.
I was so hesitant about like Z battle cards and Z leaders when they announced them, but the fact that you can now just give an old leader a Z leader and buff them like Super Saiyan God Trunks, you know?
Yeah.
Makes me so happy. Like,
it was a brilliant way to shake up the game, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I had my apprehensions too, looking back, but honestly, the game needed a little bit of something to shake it up, and being able to just go back and revise an old leader or make a leader that is kind of leaving competitiveness, like up it back up into viability, like just by printing 1 or 2 cards was such a smart thing.
Yeah, it's like, because, you know, I play mostly cooler, so I'm unfamiliar with getting new mechanics, but like, it's just so fun, like, playing this deck. I actually forgot I had a Z leader. I think you or Bancroft reminded that I have one. I was like, oh yeah, and I brought up. I forgot how good this Z leader is. Actually,
I think it gives you a free combo, right?
All I know is I got a plus 5k permanently, and all my demon clans do as well, and
Yeah.
Machians. So everything is plus 5k. So it means, you know, besides the Goku on there. So, you know, I've got a 20k crit there already. I've got 20k single striker. If I didn't combo off those commies, I would have another one. But I wanted this extra crits, you know, pressure on there because he has got a fat hand. I helped that a lot.
I did have a fat hand after that.
Yeah.
Before that 4-card combo.
No,
And
I will say, looking at this right now, it looks like it's coming down to the battle of, did you see Dormant? Which is unfortunate if that's what's happening right now.
yeah,
That's the state of affairs with
For sure.
2 green decks.
that's just, like I said, like Jake said, it's just how the cookie crumbles kind of right now. Just
Is that the Ash Blossom of Yu-Gi-Oh? It's like green on green. You got Dormant? Yeah. All right, I'll scoop.
Let's go to game 2. Wait, how many copies do you have? 2? Okay, I got 3. All right, let's.
yeah, and if you don't get rid of the unison, you know, or keep an energy open, it's just rough.
Yeah, and I put so many attacks into your unison earlier in the game. Had I put those at your leader, you might not have some of this pressure. You know, you might have had to combo it off in order to stay alive earlier in the game. But your dormants would have been free. So on your turn, you could have been tapping all the way out and pressuring me more with the cards you did have. So it's a toss-up.
Yeah, and like the other thing is too, if you left my unison alone, I 100% would have rejuvenated.
That was one thing I was worried about as well.
Yeah, because it's only 4 to rejuvenate. So if I was truly mad, I would have kept on the 2 unisons, paid 4, put underneath, and then rejuvenated.
I forgot that second to last life was Homicidal Clones.
Yeah, decided to go out on my own terms.
Which is always fair, which is kind of how I feel like Tien did it in a sense. So yeah, much like the show, Tien could not stop King Piccolo's power that he reclaimed. And so with that being said, thanks for tuning in, guys. There's buttons, there's links, you know what to do. Click them. They're there for a reason. And for our next fight,